Hey guys, so it's the real JTW. I'm here with.
Hi guys, my name is Faiik, an artist from Bulgaria who currently lives in Canada.
So I gotta ask, what's it like living up there? The upbringing and so forth. Was there a lot of struggles living there?
Well, in Bulgaria, I would say my childhood specifically was pretty laid back because I would say my parents were good because I had a typical Balkan childhood. But what the Balkan childhood is basically, every year we celebrate your birthday with friends, hanging out at your house, have a typical cake and all that stuff, food. But actually, those are my like first like conscious moments. I remember when I was 3 years old. Basically, I had a cake from dirt bike tracks and stuff and bikes on it. So what I did was grab the yellow bike and somebody took a picture of me, and that's my first ever like conscious memory. And besides that, in the summers, I was hanging out with my friends in the neighborhood, um, going to my house, to my grandparents' house for a month or so, and just play with the kids there. And met a kid who actually introduced me to wrestling and presented me WWE at the time. And that is where I became a wrestling fan, and my love for WWE began. Besides the WWD, all those stuff, we would occasionally go to the seaside because Bulgaria has a Black Sea there. And every year for a week or so, my parents would get me down there. Uh, and as I grow up now and I discover more about the history of the country at that time, I can say that my parents did a really good job to uh, move me away from the negativity, the news, and everything going around because we had at the time a big crisis, organized crimes, mafia, contract killings, and a whole bunch of negativity. I was able to pull myself out thanks to them. Uh,
Yeah,
what can I say else? But since I was young, I had a passion for creating, whether it be like videos of me. Uh, I just remember that my parents got me this Nokia with a camera on. And from there, I started creating like small series, like whether it be like with toys or with Nerf guns, or I would gather my friends up and tell them like we're gonna do this, this, and this. It's gonna be so much fun, and I would just tell them to create the idea I had in mind. Uh,
yeah,
yeah. Besides that, I was a huge fan of football or soccer, as they call it in North America, and I would occasionally, hang out with two of my best friends at the time, and either we go to the school or I would play with my classmates during gym class, and uh, that was basically part of my childhood.
yeah,
But there is always a but. So as I was growing up and I found about more about myself besides the filming and all that. What me and my parents actually discovered is I was a really shy and quiet kid when it came to socializing or hanging out with anybody. So what I mean is that I had situations where my friends, uh, like a group of people, would gather, talk and talk and talk, when I would be just sitting in a corner not saying anything, or if, like just not being shy, too shy to say something. And I remember situations where my mother would nudge me to like be like, "Come on, talk, socialize, say something."
yeah,
To be honest, it wasn't helpful at all. It wasn't. But I I had also situations where with those two best friends after school, we go play soccer. And for example, if the soccer field was full of kids I didn't know or bigger kids than me, I
yeah.
would completely shut down and I would basically sit across the field and just wait for my two best friends to finish the match with the other kids. Uh, when in
That's
terms of, yeah, you can talk now.
well. I do got a couple questions. So, kind of like, it seems like a lot of culture. You got a lot of culture in your background. Was sports always a thing for you? Like, did you start that out just like was it or did somebody in your family kind of like kind of bring that on to you, and then you kind of picked up from that, or how did that?
Mostly, I was the main like pushing point to start sports. For example, karate or be soccer. I was the pushing point, either me or a friend of mine who already was, for example, going to to like karate sessions or soccer sessions. That's what pushed me.
That's good, man.
And yeah.
What what's kind of your background? Do you have do you have any siblings or any? Are you just an only child or?
Well, I have a small brother, and we have a 13 years age gap between us.
Okay.
I have cousins. I have most of them are actually in Bulgaria, so it's like whatever. But yeah, I had a pretty normal upbringing with cousins, and now
Yeah.
this kid right here. Yeah.
Are you close with your family then, for the most part, or have you had any past traumas or so forth? Dealing with family or friends or anything you would like to um, bring up about anything?
Well, past traumas, I would say this quite. I was talking about earlier this shyness and quietness that I had in me for some reason. Past traumas, I would say that I can't exactly name something right now besides this because I actually cannot even name you any reason why I am like that or I was like that. For me, this I can only speculate it was like a cultural thing because some families, maybe mine, children are expected to be more reserved or well behaved or yeah, and I think that might have shaped the subconsciously shaped my behavior. And
Yeah.
maybe it's also fear of judgment and anxiety, I don't know, lack of confidence, or maybe I'm not just an introverted person, but it's part of my past, and I would say
Yeah.
I cannot say if it's trauma, but I cannot change it for now. I cannot change it about myself.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, isolation is okay, man. I think people, they get kind of caught up with life. They think they need a friend, and then you find out what that friend is really about. And honestly, I look up to that, man, because I mean, you know, you listen to a little bit of my music, and it's a lot of I deal with isolation as well, so I can relate on that. Um, don't think that that's something that's holding you back, or ever, like, if you ever feel that way. But um, kind of moving on to the next subject. So music. Let's bring up music. Yeah, I love your song Beverly Hills, man. That jam, bro. I swear, bro. I know it's been a while since you've done music, so I do gotta ask, what's kind of took you away from it a little bit? Is there something that's holding you back, or is it just something that you're focusing more on? You can dive into anything. I know you're doing gaming right now. You're killing it on Red Dead Redemption. You make me want to go back and play that shit, bro.
Well, yeah, actually, I finished Red Dead. Actually, the music thing, what's happening right now is just the big stepping point which came into my life, which was moving to Canada. And, after like so many years in Bulgaria, I just, it was a big cultural shock for me because the environment is so new. I don't know anybody. I don't know how to, go around there and socialize.
Yeah.
And it's- it actually, I would say that this isolation that I had here gave me a space to explore who I am, what I want, and yeah, I just started to create those videos to just explore and show my viewers and other people my journey, not only for them but for myself. Just I wanted to look back at it one day and see how far I've come from just making those music videos back in Bulgaria to y- right now where I am.
Yeah. I see, like, like when you were doing music, it was definitely probably different because now you're in a different setting. Um kind of like with the video games, is that kind of like is it kind of similar to music? Like, is it something that you enjoy doing, or do you kind of do you feel do you just feel any kind of way that I don't know, do you ever get kind of sick of like I know you probably got sick of music at some point because I know I have you know, there's been lots of fragments of my life where I'm like I want to do this instead of that, you know. Is it anything that has to do with that or in a
Well,
sense?
there since I was growing up, I struggled with actually this. Thank you for reminding me. Like lack of motivation and discipline were something that I was really struggling, and the lack of motivation is a big factor when you're creating, since anything like any content or whether it be music or something. But at the time, I felt that I didn't have the motivation to create tracks, neither have the right tools, and I was basically struggling with mental health, depression, of the isolation that I had here, and just wanted to make something different because since I remember when I was a child, I wanted to also create YouTube videos, and actually
Yeah.
uh, I was motivated, by those, videos back in like around the era of 2007 or 8, something like that. And I started creating, even back then, I had a YouTube channel, which is pretty much extinct at that point. And I was doing the typical things I was doing now, but it was mostly like gaming and stuff. And it actually went pretty well at that time because I created a series of a soccer series and it went viral first episode in. And as I look at it now, it actually was like a turning point for me.
Yeah.
So it was the first accomplishment that had its own drama, if I want to add to it, because at that time YouTube was a bit of a wild west and not many things were done there. And I had other YouTubers stealing my idea and getting views off my back, which resulted in a little bit of scabble and beef. But as I look at it now, as I grew up, I figure out that this is what like a life lesson for me because I was realizing that I have to defend myself since that young of an age, whether it be like in the internet space or the outer world. Uh, it just had to be, it was competitive. That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. It's still competitive in life nowadays. That's also like pushing me back to not creating that much music, even though I have songs ready to be published. But
Yeah.
I still want to find for myself when the time is right.
Yeah. I gotta ask, so do you feel like with music you're still trying to find yourself? I mean, is there something that might be holding you back? I mean, in a sense, as yes, you're doing things elsewhere, and I get that. But kind of like is it maybe some of the material you're holding on to maybe isn't what you're about now? Like could that be like maybe you're more about change now, and maybe what you were talking about then wasn't what you're wanting now? Is it could that be like a sense of maybe what's happening?
That's a good question because actually it's kind of true because basically the sound that I have like 2 years from now, it's totally different from the sound I'm hearing right now from the tracks I made back then. So it kind of doesn't doesn't mm, I didn't make the idea sound the way I wanted to sound like, even though back then it sounded good to me. But as I look at it now, it's not the idea that I wanted to present at first place.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, hey man, that's good that you're opening up about it, man, because I know, man, when you were doing it, man, you were a big inspiration to me. I mean, just the way that you kind of like, I mean, you had that music video. I don't remember what it was called, but it was, I know Beverly Hills was like my favorite one from you, bro. But I mean, bro, the biggest thing with life is, bro, is like people don't understand. They kind of just hold on to one thing in life, you know, like it's got you really just got to hold on to what you're good at. You know what I mean? And exploring different options is very important. And I always tell artists is this, bro, like you don't just have to do music. Make sure you have a backup plan. You know, you got a job, right? You what do you do for work?
What I do for work, I don't want to say what I do for work, but I do a little
That's okay.
gigs here and there, gigs here and there,
Yeah.
and I'm basically trying to make the best of it what I can from it's pretty early for me to say
Right.
what I have achieved or what I have been done because it's only 1 year and a half since I've been here.
Yeah, well, that's okay, man. The main thing is like always just having a backup plan, and I see that from you, man. Even if it's not just you doing music, you're doing gaming, you're doing things that you love. And one thing that I always preach on is that it's very important, mental health, understanding even like I said with the isolation, this can be a good thing, because sometimes when you surround yourself around the wrong crowd, and I know from what you even said too, you did at some point you surrounded yourself around the wrong crowd. Now you're in a new setting and you're keeping to yourself and you're kind of doing what you enjoy. And I look up to
Mhm.
that, bro. I really do. Kind of moving on to the next subject. So what's your plans for 2025? Do you have any goals or any achievements that you want to digress into?
Well, I don't like to say my plans because I always be careful with the side eye. It's a personal trauma. My dad's a trauma from since high school that
Okay,
I would like to open up about actually. Uh,
I want to
since
hear it.
I remember when I started high school, it was totally not what I expected in the first place. I remember that actually my grandma and my parents were big helpers back then because when I graduated high school, you have to apply for some kind of schools in Bulgaria. That's the system back then. It's pretty messed up because you're 14 years old, you're just hitting puberty, you're figuring out who you are, and they just want you to make some life shaping decisions for your future, which for me doesn't work at all.
Yeah,
But my grandma was a big helper back then. She took me to this elementary school, and I still remember it to this day. It was one big hall and two ladies sitting on a desk and tell it. And when I added them the list with the school I wanted to apply, well, they were quite surprised I only filled out three schools because people in Sofia were probably filling out like 40 schools, and they thought of
right.
what I wanted at a young age. But when I started Sky School, it was totally different. First month in, I fractured my arm, and I'm wearing this big cast from here to here, from my hand to my shoulder around the school, and it was a big embarrassment because I was just trying to fit in this new environment, and I just wanted to not draw attention to myself. And all of a sudden, I'm
Yeah,
walking with this big cast out of the school. But besides that, the environment was new, teachers are new.
yeah,
I was pretty trying to be a grade 8 student because of scholarships and stuff, and do not disappoint my parents. And when I look back at it now, it was just a disaster to be living in because
yeah,
it was just disgusting that we actually changed the principle and we had the environment as well changed. The manners got significantly higher, so a lot of teachers were choked by the neck because of their position at the school, and every year was progressively difficult and difficult. And I was dealing with a lot of bullying as well from the bigger kids or even
right.
my personal classmates, and it was disgusting because it was an all boys school. So imagine this: there was no girls at the school,
Yeah.
I didn't have any friends, no parties, no fun activities, and I did at that age I already know that I didn't want to become an engineer because the school was specialized in electronics. So
Mm-hmm.
I felt lost. I felt really depressed. I felt alone at that time, and I basically didn't have a reason to live.
Yeah.
And what happened back then is that I discovered an artist called XXXTentacion. I
Okay.
think you've heard about him.
Yeah, I know about him. Yeah.
So it was 2016. I heard the song "Look at Me," and I actually didn't hear it from Music Battle. I heard it from a meme from all the things. And what happened was I fell in love with the music. Like, I was like, damn, that bass, that heavy lyrics. Like, he said, "You put a gun in my mouth, so put a hole in your parents." I was like sitting on my chair, 16 years, like, damn, that guy, damn, that shit fire as hell. And I'm like, damn, nobody made this here in Bulgaria. Like, and I
Uh,
discovered more about the guy essentially. I saw his No Jumper interview, and
uh-huh.
which is the most viewed interview to this day on the No Jumper channel.
Oh, it is. It
And
is. It is. No,
yeah,
no cap on that.
and the way the guy spoke, his vulnerability, his life story about his pain, his struggles, and he was basically like he was presenting himself as the voice, the unheard, the last one, the loners.
Yeah,
And for the first time, I didn't feel alone. It was kind of crazy to just from a guy from the internet around the fucking across the globe made me
yeah,
feel that way. And I felt moved, I felt inspired, not besides him, but his music as well, and the whole SoundCloud era that was going on around like underground artists like Bones, Lil Pump, Lil Peep, Ski Max, those guys like
yeah,
it made
yeah,
me think one day I was watching X expiring, some people was like, wow, I why why don't I try it myself? Why don't I try creating music? And
yeah,
that's how the passion started. And I found it like as a way of my purpose. My purpose in life just came from a guy basically trying to motivate me to follow my dream, whatever dream I had.
yeah. Hey, man, I really like that. I like that you stand behind more than just like non-meaning. You know what I mean? Like I think that's why you probably found me at some point, like where we became friends, because we both stand behind loving one, like loving people, bro. Like people people don't understand in life, bro, how important it is to just wrap your hand around somebody when they're down at their lowest, bro. And it's that's one thing that X did do. Like I did,
Oh, of course.
I listened to him for a little bit, he wasn't my biggest funny my biggest inspiration was DMX, so we're kind of like similar. They both come from like a backstory, and then they're trying to
Of
teach,
course.
but they also have the street life and a bunch of other. That was one thing I noticed about you when you did music. You were very versatile. Like I felt like you could sing because you showed signs of that, and then you also showed signs of like where you came from that street life, and just little background pieces I could see of where X kind of was a
Yeah.
motivation to you or an inspiration to you. So that's cool to hear that you know were inspired by him.
Of course,
One,
of course. I just want to say that don't live to DMX and long live to XX because those
yeah,
guys died too soon, bro. They died too soon.
yeah. That's one thing, man. Like you know, it's crazy how many artists are dying to depression and addiction, and I fall victim to it as well. Because I've lost so many people, and I know you've lost people too, man. And
Of
it's
course.
a sad thing that we're seeing, bro, in this generation. Like people don't understand like what lean and fentanyl and all this stuff can get. Like it's crazy because you can't even trust the person next to you. You go and get a joint, right? And you don't know if that joint you can I don't trust anybody. I don't know if you have the same mentality, like, I mean, or did you have the same?
Oh, of course. That's another
Yeah,
trauma because I started creating music, went to another hiatus and I was lost again, depressed, all that stuff. I was
yeah,
the only cure I had was the gym. I was going, for example, if the school was starting at 12:30 in the afternoon, 8 a.m., I was in the gym lifting iron. And that was the only therapy for me. And after that, one of my classmates decided to come with me. And from there, he talked about his friend group, his girl drama there, one specific girl, whatever. And
yeah,
one day he decided to invite me to a trip to Serbia. And there I met his friend group, and I cannot say about this lifestyle that I had. It was just, drugs, not
yeah,
drugs, but alcohol, smoking, partying, all those stuff. And I was like, all that funny shit. I was like, I found it f fun at the time.
yeah,
And what happened after we went back? He was one of his best friends at the time told me, from now on, you're starting to hang with us. And I was like, okay. And then I
yeah,
started hanging out with them. And that was basically my life for, I would say, 4, almost 5 years. And oh, well, I cannot say I'm not thankful that I met them because I visit many countries like Venice, Monaco, and it was chaotic, I would say.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, man, you've been through a lot, man. And one thing I'll say, man, is just, you know, you found yourself. I can tell that you have, and I feel like music will come back when the time is right. Don't rush it. Some artists is, you know, not even just with music, but just everything, bro. I feel like you've came a long ways, even
Hmm.
through this isolation, man, you've learned a lot, man. You've learned, like, your past traumas can catch up to you, and I look up to that, bro. I know we don't have much longer left on this thing. If you would like to do like a closing kind of anything that you want to kind of lay out in the last 5 minutes that we have before it will cut off. So anything that you want to get out there, anything you want to tell the world, if there's anything upcoming. I know you said you're kind of holding on to some stuff, but anything you want to talk, just lay it out right now, bro. We'll hear it.
Well, I would say that I have a lot of things planned going on, but I want to just come back to the friend group thing that I was talking about. Like a big issue that actually is not only a issue for this specific friend group, but it's an issue I see a lot around people around these days because uh, as I spend more time with those people, I saw some stuff that made me figure out a lot of things about life, friendships, love, and etc. Uh, that's the thing I never wanted to do in my life. I found it really disgusting, but it's called gossiping, and it was just disgusting because
Yeah,
there a lot of discussion behind other people's shit for those 4 years, and after I grew up, I figured out that not only them that do it, everybody like gossips about anybody just to I don't know as I
yeah,
think they just want to make themselves the better person. But when I saw that, for fear of judgment, I remember that I didn't want to become isolated and alone again, like I was before that. So I fell down to their level and I started discussing other people for no particular reason. Like nobody
yeah,
did anything bad to me, but it ended up with me parting with those guys and being like so scared to do anything. Like because I know that they were laughing with together, having fun, and the morning they would discuss each other again. I was like, what am I doing here? What's this place that I'm
yeah, right.
currently? And I didn't like it. Eventually become to bullying, and
Yeah,
because the whole friend group became like a survival of the fittest, like a jungle type of thing.
yeah,
And that's that's what I wanted to say, that life
yeah,
isn't just about surviving. It's about finding moments like of purpose. Like you have little victories here, little victories there, and I would like people to remind themselves that those victories are where they started at first, to resonate with what they started at first place.
right.
And I hope this resonates with somebody because if my journey teaches anything is that even in the hardest times when you're lost, when you're alone, when you're depressed, you can still find a way to rebuild yourself, to grow, and to always keep pushing forward.
Man, I can't thank you enough for getting on this platform, bro, and just speaking your mind. I know a lot of people are gonna love to hear this message, and I just want to thank you again for being a part of this platform, man. I know we got a long road just building this platform, but it's people like you that I must thank, and you know, the real
Yeah.
JTW. I'm out.
And I'm Fikes, guys, and if you don't like this interview, I'll gladly do another one again.
Yeah, we'll make it happen for sure. All right, we out, yeah.
Bye, guys.